to the 70 weeks, let's give a background first. 70 weeks is a timeline given by God to Israel until the end of time. Now, what was the background of the 70 weeks? We just have to research this at your home. You must have a personal devotional time. Aside from personal devotional time, you must have a couple devotional time and a family devotional time. In your family devotional time, you discuss these things with your children. With your spouse, couple devotional time, you share it with your spouse before you sleep, before you pray. And personally,
let me ask, and you try to answer. All of you, Brother Enoch, Brother Menan, like an examination. Who will be the first? If you don't ask, I will ask. Okay. So, the first topic, letter A. Why is it 70 weeks, or why is it? That's also letter B. Okay. Letter A is a backgrounder. The question there, it should show some timeline, eternity to eternity. Why did the letter A is why did the 70 weeks start? Okay. Can any one of you answer?
Can I answer it,
Yes,
brother?
yes.
If I'm not mistaken, the 70-week started because of the what do you call this in English? The
No
word.
pictures, no pictures. Your pictures for letter A, Brother Simon Menan. Simonen. Menan. Okay. So why did the 70 weeks start, Brother Enoch?
Because there is I think it is located in Daniel, Book of Daniel. There is because of the in Tagalog it's called katigasan ng ulo. I forgot the word. A
The
transgression.
answer is Daniel 9:1 and 2. What is the answer
Yeah.
there?
What? Can you
Stubbornness.
repeat the question?
Katigasan ng ulo is stubbornness. That's why
Yes, the
we
stubbornness.
humble
So if
ourselves.
we if we read in Daniel chapter 9, there is a sixfold purposes. So that's the very reason
You're
of
talking
this.
of verse 24. I'm talking of the answer is 1 and 2. If you don't know the answer, open the Bible. Okay?
Okay. Daniel chapter
9, 1 and 2. Why
okay.
did... So, Sister Dalaga, you may also ask verbally, okay? Why did the... Why did the 70 week start? Because Daniel 9, 1 and 2? Is that the only picture you have? You may rotate it. According to letter A. Okay. Just read the verse if you're taking too long. Blow it up. Whenever you rotate pictures, blow it up, okay? There's still blackness besides it. Okay, so who else will answer? I hope every minister will strive to answer, no? So we need ministers who can answer this. Bar Jerry, Bar Menan, Bar Magellan, Brother Padun, Brother Lito, Brother Jose. Strive to answer. Brother Freddy, George. Okay, although they're not around. But strive to invite them. Okay. So we have it. This is like an examination. Okay. Did you read the verse? If you...
This answer came from my father. His answer is to complete the 70 weeks.
Now the question, why did the 70 weeks start in the first place? Okay.
Okay, again, can I answer it again?
Yes. Just shortcut.
Okay, because they did not follow the law.
Oh, that's a short answer. Okay. So, anyone else? The answer is actually Daniel 9, 1 and 2. So, so that's why others are teaching. We need more details, no? If we give more details, we understand. There's also application. Okay, since our time is, can Brother Menan answer? What is Brother Menan, Pastor Ferdinand Sustento doing?
Sir Francis, another answer is for the restoration of Israel.
Yes, that's correct, but it's a backgrounder. How did it start? Okay, you should read Daniel 9, 1 and 2. Okay, so no one, Brother Pastor Ferdinand, can you answer? Is he doing something else? Please,
He's doing he's
what is
busy,
he
brother.
doing? Please
He's
ask him
busy.
to participate in the question answer.
He's
You're not
busy
yet
right
all
now.
mature yet.
Something
So,
important doing.
emergency. Okay, emergency. So, let me give the answer.
Last,
The
last,
answer,
last.
okay, let's try.
Because they did not follow the law of Sabbath.
Sabbath. That's close. That's close. Okay. So the answer is the reason of 70 weeks. Daniel was mediating in intercessorship, like intercession. He was mediating for Israel because the city of Jerusalem is desolate. And he thought the 70 years that they owed God as a sabbatical year was already paid. Rotate the pictures, blow it up, okay? If you did not, you should have prepared blowing it up before. If you're gonna do it now, you have to do it now. So, uh, the desolation of Israel, and it lasted for already 70 years. It's expired. The 70 years already expired. And Daniel was still questioning God. That's what we should be doing, okay? Why is Israel not yet restored? He's talking about Jerusalem, not the temple. The temple was rebuilt. But if you can show the eternity to eternity of Bargan, he just made it all the same. The building of the temple or the the order to rebuild the city. Okay, that's when they started. But for it started from the concern of Daniel, and I said in the video, we should have concern for our church. We should have concern for our family. Not just because they're attending church, it's enough. They have to be beren, they have to study, they have to hunger, they have to ask questions. That's why the same rebuke for our own church. Very few people here are asking questions, very few people here are trying to answer them, except for Bar Enoch, Bar Sister Dalaga. The others should strive to answer, should strive to ask questions. If they're not doing that, that's your master key. You know your church is sickly. Your church is not healthy in the Word of God, in maturity. Okay, so that's the answer for letter A. So you did not show the other outlines, never mind. So let's go back to our outline, letter A. So actually we only have 10 minutes for each letter. We went beyond 10 minutes. So get back to the outline. Get back to the enumerated list of topics, highlights we need to do. If Bermenan can come back, because I think he's the only one that can. So, Bar Simon, you failed to show the chart timeline of eternity to eternity. Okay, let's go to letter B. Does any one of you wish to ask this question? Okay, do you wish to answer? I'll be the one to ask the question.
Why there is a additional 70 weeks, brother F?
Okay, so They have pictures of uh, the Shemitah, then the computation, and the promises of Daniel 9:24. Okay, so use this to prepare the pictures. What is Shemitah? If you can show pictures of the sabbatical year. The Shemitah is the sabbatical. Every 7 years, you should give the lands a rest. It becomes 70 weeks? Because Shemitah is one of the 7 years. 1 year out of 7 years. So 1 year out of 7 years, you owe 70 Shemitah sabbatical years. How long did you backslide? You did not just backslide every 7th year. You backslid in that whole 7 years. This is, don't you have the computation? Oh, you didn't make the computation. Okay, never mind. We'll use this. So, but you must blow it up, Brother Simon. Don't be lazy. Always blow it up. Now, what we're showing is why did it take 70 weeks? Because the restoration of Israel, the restoration of Jerusalem, the restoration for iniquity, the reconciliation for iniquity, it's not just paying the 70 years or sabbatical years, but paying the whole time that you were spiritually backslid. So you were spiritually backslid for not just 70 years, but 490 years. 70 times 7. You did not just backslide on the sabbatical year. You backslid for the whole 7 years. So 70 sabbatical years equals 490 times 7. 490 years that you were backslid. Could you show eternity to eternity, Bar Simon? When did it start? Oh, there are lots of pictures there that I wish to use, but you're so fast. Okay. You have to ask your father to be there because he did not teach you which pictures to use, okay, per letter. Right now I am asking for the picture. That's the picture. That's the picture. Okay, thank you. So, did it start at the beginning of the 70 weeks? No, they backslid way before. Did it start in the divided kingdom? No, way back before. Go back to the previous picture. The picture prior to this. The picture of before the divided kingdom, the United Kingdom. So if you're gonna compute 490 years of backslid, it started here when they entered the land after Exodus. Since they went into the land, they never gave the land a rest. If you read the history of Israel, they were really backslidden. They had wars with each other. They had intrigues. Then they asked for a king, Saul. He was replaced with David, and David and became corrupt also. And Solomon inherited the kingdom, the United Kingdom. Then it split up. That's the divided kingdom you saw a while ago. So, if you can show the cursor, the Exodus going into the promised land, that's when they started. How do you know that? Because 7 years needs 1 year of sabbatical rest. If 70 sabbatical rest, Shemitah, the Israelites did not tithe it to God, did not offer the land a rest, you know they backslid for 490 years. So you go back 490 years, it falls in the independent nation of Israel. When they entered into the land, they never gave the land a rest. Oh, I forgot to ask for the verse that God commanded that the land should be given a rest every 7 years. 1 year of rest. Maybe any one of you, Brother Joshua, if you can research that, Shemitah or the verse for Shemitah. Brother Joshua, Enoch, Dalaga, or Jemelin. Okay. So, okay, let's move on. Any question?
Okay,
We should,
why the 70 week is divided into 3, into 7, into 62, and
that's in the
one
next letter. Do you wish to jump to that?
why did God not do it in one go? Why it is
Yeah,
divided
that's a good
by
question. That's a good question. But we have to follow, it's in the outline. Since it's in the outline, we have to go to the next letter. So, Brother Simon, you have to call your father back because all the pictures he prepared will be wasted. You didn't study. You don't know which pictures next. So we are in letter B, and you did not rotate all other pictures of letter B. If ever you did, it's small. You have to bring it back big. We're wasting time over that. Okay, let's go back to our outline. We're in letter C. We've spent 20 minutes already. So we should be in letter C. So that's the time when it started, okay? So that's letter B. Daniel 9:24 pictures you don't have. What does it talk about? You may even show the verse. It talks about the restoration of everything from sin. Because it's not, the Jews today are only after national identity, politics. But God is not concerned about national identity. God is concerned about the heart. The 70 weeks is focused on the restoration of the heart of the nation. The heart is being sincere to God. You might be playing church, but you're not sincere. Jeremiah was about to slaughter when he heard the voice of the Lord. Why did God interrupt the commandment of slaughtering animals when uh, when he was the first one to give them in the first place? Because God knew their hearts was far from them. They might be outwardly doing it. Like in our church, people can praise, worship, cry, but you're not Berean. You're not sincere. If you're not Berean, you're not sincere, you're not after His word. You're after socializing in the church. So Jeremiah was interrupted from performing his duties because God started to give him revelations that Israel is about to be chastised. Okay? If Israel is about to be chastised, that's the lesson of the 70 weeks. Every Judaizers right now, say Gentiles that were converted to Judaism, they don't believe Jesus Christ is the Messiah because Jesus Christ reconciliation for iniquity is in the soul, not in the national identity. And God wants the national identity. God wants the national identity. Brother Jerry, I cannot read the comments, so it should be someone else. I'm answering question. So, Brother Jerry sending questions or comments. So someone here has to read it for us. But our time actually is very short because we only have 10 minutes for each letter. So the Daniel 9:24 answers everything. 70 weeks is very relevant to us. When you know why? It's not just the restoration of Israel in the spirit, spiritually. It's the restoration of all the rest of the world combined. So if this will be fulfilled, there will be peace on earth. That's why they say Jesus Christ is not the real Messiah because he did not bring peace on earth yet. That mystery is what we call the mystery of God, the church ages, the stopping of the clock between the 69th week and the 70th week. Okay, so You're not moving the pictures while I was explaining. So let's go back to letter C. So we should be in the third letter because we're almost 30 minutes. Brother Simon, please
Yes.
go back to the outline. You're not listening. Letter C. You did not use the other pictures. Now, even the outline question, you're not focused. Okay? I was asking for that several times already. Okay. Letter C. Okay, do you have any questions for this? This is basic. So this is your question why there is 7 plus 62. So Bar Enoch, could you repeat your question? This is the time you should ask your question. Bar Enoch.
Brother. Okay, so my question is, why did the 70 week is divided into three, into the 7, into
7,
62, and
62,
1
and
week.
1.
Why did
Okay,
why did
no
God?
end time church is talking about that. Okay, I've been asking around, no one can answer me. Even Brother Jackson. Okay,
Okay, why
even
why
okay,
did God did just not do it in one go?
one go.
Why it
Okay,
is divided into
so
three?
one go is the Seventh Day Adventist and Jehovah's Witness version. They finished it already. Okay, now another one go is 69. Could you show the chart, Brother Simon? The timeline illustration. Brother Simon. Okay, thank you. So this is useful. I know there are lots of pictures, but since you did not rehearse about it, you cannot show it. Look at this. Uh, why did not God put it in one go? Just put 69 after 69 years. He still split it for 7 and 62. So this, remember, if I hope you can share this in the ministers meeting in the anumang end time churches, because I've never heard any one of them explain why there are 7 weeks and 62 weeks. The answer is silent years. Between Malachi and Matthew is 400 silent years. You can even look at your Scofield reference Bible and you will see almost 434 years between what? Between the writing prophets. So are there prophets during the silent years? There are. So 7 weeks, the streets will be built again, even the walls, even in troublous times. What is the troublous times? The silent years between 62 weeks. There's an event. The event is in Daniel chapter 8. What is Daniel chapter 8? The Persian Empire defeated, the when they started the 70s, they were under the Persian Empire. But at the start of the silent years, the Greek Empire started to gain strength through the Macedonian king, Philip, then Alexander the Great. He conquered the Persian Empire. Then, after he died, 4 generals took over. That's Daniel chapter 8. Oh, I failed to ask for the picture of the eagle. Yes, thank you for that picture. Thank you for that picture. You see that? 70 years Babylonian captivity. So the silent years is when? So the first, Brother Gan made some division of 7 years, but does he give an explanation? There's an Alexander the Great uh, down there, no? That's the start of the silent years. So the silent years started in the Persian time empire. They were the prophets, the minor prophets when they rebuilt the temple, they rebuilt the city, From the going forth of the commandment to restore and rebuild Jerusalem. That's before the 7 weeks. So 7 weeks is what? It's almost Jubilee. 7 times 7, that's 49 years. On the 50th year, that's the Jubilee. So the first Jubilee, the answer to 7 plus 62 division is, there's first a Jubilee, then there is the silent years. The silent years is there are more troubles, more persecutions. Out from one of Alexander the Great's generals come Antiochus Epiphanes. And he portend, or let's foreshadowed, the coming Antichrist. Now that's very noteworthy. So that's the reason there is the silent years. What happened between this time? The Maccabees, the Hanukkah celebration. Hanukkah is just after December, no? And Purim, where is Purim? Maybe Purim took place in the Medo-Persian time. Hanukkah took place in, the feast was developed during the time after the defeat of Antiochus, or the recapture of the temple and the cleansing of the temple, rededication of the temple. That's in the silent years. So there are many revelations hidden within the silent years. Hanukkah is one of them. Then the the fourth beast, the Roman Empire. So could you go to the cross? That's part of the silent years. How the Greek Empire, splintered Greek Empire, was divided among the generals, were defeated by Rome, and Rome took over. That's the time of Christ. So that's silent years. Let's go back. What does 70 weeks say? Verse 26. Unto the Messiah the Prince. Oh, wait, that's verse 25. From the going forth of the commandment unto the Messiah the Prince. So the Messiah the Prince is Jesus Christ. From, that's in the illustration of Bragan, it's 169 weeks on the go, one whole. But the division, that is a mystery. Why is there a division between 7 and 62? Thank you for sharing this picture promptly, punctually. 62 and 7 is a mystery, and that is the answer to the mystery. Okay? The first Jubilee, then there is the silent years. What happened during the silent years? There are many revelations. The revelations there foreshadow the last week of Daniel. So, unto the Messiah the Prince, that's a mystery, okay? The Messiah the Prince will be cut off, like right after the 69th week. After 2 weeks shall the Messiah be cut off, but not for himself. Okay, let's move on to letter D. We have less than 20, we have just about 20 minutes to go. Let's move on to letter D. Brother Simon, you have to show. Okay, thank you. Please move it up. Okay, letter D. Does anyone wish to ask question about this?
Why cut off 69?
Okay, the reason it was cut off, remember the promise of God, if 70 weeks will be given as a time period to restore Israel. Did you know this is something that is not being preached among 70 weeks teachers, okay? Or if ever they do, I have not heard it yet. So I have to share this, at least in the end time message, because they are the benefactors of this revelation. This was emphasized by Barbanam. Barbanam was not the first to teach about the 70 weeks, but he was the one that emphasized this. As other churches do not emphasize it as much. Now, many end time churches have grown lukewarm to the progressive revelation. There are more details among these 70 weeks. Okay, there's another issue, whether that's letter E, no, whether half week is left, or we need the illustration of a track later, or 1 week is left. Okay, that's for letter E. Letter D, why was it cut off? The answer is this. God was about to reconcile Israel with him. Reconciliation for iniquity. God was about to finish the transgression of Israel. What did they just have to do? They just have to accept their Messiah. So the Messiah came in the 69th week to bring them to reconciliation with God, to seal up the vision. What the Jews, if you ask them why Jesus Christ is a false Messiah, because for them, Jesus Christ did not bring national restoration. They were only looking at the kingdom, the restoration of the kingdom, because Jesus Christ did not immediately give the kingdom to Israel. You read that, Acts chapter 1, verse 6. Even Judas was after the kingdom. Wilt thou at this time restore again the kingdom to Israel? That is the same reasoning of the Jews today. That's why they reject Jesus Christ as the Messiah. He did not bring any earthly kingdom. But in reality, this is the mystery. This is the progressive revelation. God was about to give them the kingdom. As long as they did not murder their Messiah. That's a good picture. So at least the other pictures are not wasted. So this is one, we're no longer talking about the division. So this is a good illustration. Okay, you can still blow it up bigger, much bigger. Cover the smaller spaces. So God was about to finish the 70 weeks. This is true, huh? How did you know that? Because Paul explained that in Romans. Paul was not talking about the 70 weeks. Paul was talking about the Israel was the first to benefit the Messiah. If Israel did not reject the Messiah, his blood be on us and on our children. Israel would be blessed. God will give her blessing if she did not reject the spiritual restorations first. And they accepted Christ as their Messiah. Remember, they wanted to make Jesus Christ king. But Christ avoided to become king. Why? Because they still need a spiritual restoration. But did they accept the teaching of Christ? No. So, since they rejected, please always blow it up. So, the dark spaces, ano. So, since they rejected Christ, his blood be on us and on our children, they crucified him. That's in Daniel chapter 9, verse 26. After 62 weeks shall the Messiah be cut off, but not for himself. What does it mean? His being cut off is not only for himself, but for the sins of many. But for many. Okay? Daniel 9:26. So that's the answer. Why did God stop the clock there? Because they killed the Messiah. Is that reconciliation for iniquity? No, that is plunging the nation more into iniquity. That's why they said, his blood be on us and on our children. The 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 Israelites as a nation rejected. You know, even after the resurrection of Christ, they still rejected. What did Paul say? Romans chapter 10, I would to God that all Israel shall be saved. Because they have a zeal for God. But what happened even after the resurrection? They killed the apostles. They martyred James. They persecuted the church. So Daniel 9:24 could not yet be fulfilled at that time. You can argue that's not that because that's predestinated. Yes, that's true, but that there's still a reason why the timeline stopped, because Israel rejected. God could not continue the promise in Daniel 9:24. You will find Daniel 9:24. After Israel is spared, after 2 days, he will revive us. He will raise us up. We will live in his sight in the third day. So that's the church ages. Could you show the church ages? Go back to the illustration of the chart. We have 20 minutes to go, so there's still time for the quotes. Look at this gap, this church age. This is called the mystery of God. And you read the mystery of God, Revelation 10:7 and other Ephesians chapter 3, that's the great mystery for the Jews, for the Israelites. They were the original caretakers of the message, but they missed the message. Much like the high priests told Herod where the Messiah would be born. That's you see, read there, the mystery of God should be
Brother
finished.
Francis, in
Okay, question.
Revelation 10:7, but in the days of the voice of the seventh angel, when he shall begin to sound, the mystery of God should be finished, as he hath declared to his servants, the prophets.
What is your question? You have any question, or you just okay? This is one of the verses that talk about the mystery of God. The mystery of God from the Old Testament is already being mentioned. This mystery is why did the timeline stop? You ask every Jew, isn't it the 70 should be over? Isn't it, if it's over, you should already become a national restoration or what? Why are you not restored? The 70 looks like a failed prophecy. Or for you, the 70 weeks is over. They don't know there's a gap. So, like the Jehovah's Witnesses or Seventh day Adventists, they believe the 70 weeks is over, but why are we not yet restored? So they think of this restoration of this national identity, like Netanyahu trying to put Israel in its place among the United Nations to be accepted. But the world we have today is are the governments of the Antichrist. They don't know it, and so this is a mystery, Brother Johnson. Of course, he learned from Brother Jackson, but I've heard it before. Oh, that is not. Why did you teach plural? I never teach plural, but yes, I admit the verse in 10:7 is singular. So they're referring to the church ages. But can you include the mysteries of revelations? Can the revelation stop? Can all the mysteries be opened up? Yes, at the same time. Because before you start in the last week of Daniel, there's the rapture. The rapture, there is no more mystery for the bride. The bride will stop in its progressive revelation because they will see Christ face to face. What about the end of the last week of Daniel? When Christ comes back to earth, there will be no more teaching. Actually, in the last week of Daniel, you cannot teach deeper things. You cannot teach deeper things because only the bride will have the deepest revelation of all. It's their wedding garment. But in the last week of Daniel, the basic things will be taught. Everlasting gospel, a much more shallower message. They didn't even know who Jesus Christ is. I'm talking of Israel as a nation. Even though they were saved by the message of the two prophets, only the 144,000 accepted Christ, sealed in their foreheads. The rest of the nation will only be saved by the everlasting gospel. And the rest of the sheep nations. So, the highest point of revelation is here in the end time, right before the rapture. Because when the rapture takes place, it's not just the mystery of God should be finished. All mysteries that will be revealed is which should already be revealed. So uh, some have tried to go advanced, no? Try to take like they say the rapture is over, we are perfect. That's why there are Nicolaitan churches among the end time churches. Why? They don't want to listen to progressive revelation. They are like the denominations, they are contented to repeat and repeat what they've already known all along. They have biases. They don't want to listen to someone they don't know. But what did the Bereans did? They accepted Paul. Paul was supposed to be a stranger. Paul was even supposed to be the enemy because Paul was preaching the gospel which the Jews rejected. But the Bereans did not reject him outright. They listened to him. And that is what Brother Branham has been teaching all the churches all along. You have to humble down, listen, and check if it's scriptural. And if it's scriptural, accept it. Not because I said it, but because the Bible said it. That's the instruction of the prophet. And those that can really follow suit on that, they will have no biases against anyone. They can progress to deeper revelations, to deeper details which the prophet never mentioned at all. That's why there will be a highest level of revelation for the bride church before the rapture comes. At the rapture season, when they would have their glorified bodies, then we can cease having Bible studies, having these broadcasts, because our work on earth is done. Then we can cease have researching, studying to make yourself approved of God. You should be doing that while we are still in our mortal bodies here on earth. And if we do that, then you are qualified for the rapture. So that's being Berean. That's proving all things. Then preaching it out, prophesying to many nations, tongues and kings. That's for the bride. Prophesying to many nations, tongues and kings will still happen in the last week of Daniel. But those that will are for those that will be left behind. The 144,000 and the foolish virgins that were left behind that would realize they have been foolish, because foolishness is wickedness. Daniel chapter 12. And they would repent and they would become wise. Okay, try to catch up for the third phase of the first resurrection. Okay, let's move on to. So that's the reason why. Let me mention this. I mentioned this in our previous broadcast. The last 2,000 years, Israel has suffered more among all the nations. So let us use this drawing, Brother Branham's illustration. Could you blow it up because there are still spaces? You can stretch it lengthwise because this is just a drawing. Can you stretch this lengthwise? Okay. So, okay. So, the church ages, if Israel was chastised by God in the 69 weeks for their reconciliation, remember, brethren, for your family training, if you want your children to be cleansed, to be reconciled, to repent, you need to chastise them. Now, Israel was chastised in the 69 weeks. And there, for 2,000 years, there's additional chastisement. Additional. And it becomes a mystery to them. In the last week of Daniel, there will be additional chastisement also. That's how God cleanses his children. So the 7 days could be typified for us believers. We need. So you asked me last night. No, it was Sister Jemeline who asked me last night. Should we forgive our LCM for 70 times 7? I said, do not forgive in the flesh on your self-righteous way, sariling diskarte. Forgive according to the way of God. So if you forgive your children, there are parents who are very forgiving to their children without any chastisement. That's wrong. Oh, 70 times 7. Do anything you want, we will forgive you immediately. That's wrong. When your child sins against God, sins against you, transgresses against you, in your commandment for training according to God, you have to chastise them. So 70 times 7 is the hidden revelation there is chastisement. The additional 2,000 years is an additional chastisement for killing the Messiah. But they will still be forgiven. God loves them. Romans chapter 11, blindness in part is happened to Israel before the blindness, the fullness of the Gentiles come in. Until the fullness of the Gentiles come in. So that's part of their chastisement. Okay, so let's move on to our last, we have 10 minutes, less than 10 minutes to go. I hope Casey will extend for the last song. Okay, let's go to letter E, the last. Let's talk about, but before you, could you ready that just this later we'll just use this. You read the, okay, what is
Okay.
uh,
Jackson,
letter E?
letter E, Bar Branham quotes compare tracks before 70 weeks sermon.
Okay, could you show the track we made about the three timelines? The Seventh Day Adventist version, the end time quotational version, then the biblical version. Brother, that's the track. You showed it a while ago. Brother Simon showed it a while ago. We're running out of time. So please show the three timelines. Bar Menan. A while ago I saw that. You prepared that already. Hello. We may leave this outline because our time
Okay,
is
wait.
almost up.
Actually, I lost it. Okay, wait.
Oh, use the general purpose folder. Maybe you didn't put it in a folder, okay? We're no longer gonna use this outline. We're just gonna show that. Then we need to show the three versions. The first version is the Seventh Day Adventist and the Jehovah's Witness version. Uh, okay, blow it up further. Okay. So the the first version, the first one up there is the SDA and JW version, and many others also. That's also a mystery for the Jews, because for the Jews, the 7 weeks is supposed to be over. It's a mystery for them. We did not tackle anymore how to prove that there's a gap, okay? But if Casey will grant us some extension, we will. The second version is the version of Brother Branham before God supernaturally intervened in his sermon. This is the version of Brother Branham since 1950s to until his death, except for the final version, the biblical version. So the second version you see there, 3.5 years has been used up by Christ in his ministry. So the last week of Daniel has been split in two. The first half is in his ministry, the second half is in the tribulation period. So majority of his quotes are teaching this. All of his sermon teaches this, except the final version, the biblical version. There's only one sermon he taught this. What is this? The 1 week left. Okay? So this is the version taught by the angel to Brother Branham. And he could not remember this in the question and answer during the seals book. Why? Because he did not said that he committed a mistake. Some end time level 3 teaches. Oh, he was mistaken before 1963. No, he did not say I committed a mistake on this. What he only said committed mistake is the white horse rider. Hello, please bring back the illustration. So, you're quoting this, no? No, you got that wrong. So someone reminded him, did you not teach 7 years? That was 1961. He said, no, I never teach 7 years. You got me wrong.
Bar Francis,
He
Brother
did not
Branham's
remember. He
Bar
really taught
Francis.
7 years in 1961. Okay, question.
But when Brother Branham says that you misunderstood me, brother, because of when he teaches the 70 weeks of Daniel in other quotation, I have the quotation here. This large font. This is what the Holy Spirit put upon my pen while I was writing. So he's talking also to the 70th week of Daniel. if you read this now, according to Barbanam, the moment he start the 70th week or 7 years, the church is gone. Now, listen, I'm quoting again, requoting, so you won't forget. So did Barbanam have amnesia during that time?
Yes,
Then after
yes,
that,
yes. That's a good question. He did not remember that. That's
okay.
the simplest explanation. The simplest explanation is his fallibility as a human compared to God. When God reveals something, he may not necessarily remember that. He's not as perfect as everyone wants to portray him to be. So that here, he did not remember. He thought that. He even drew that.
So
Okay.
the second illustration here, the 3.5 or one half week left is wrong.
Yes, because that he developed that after studying from the Seventh Day Adventist and Jehovah's Witnesses. Because the Seventh Day Adventists and Jehovah's Witnesses teach the same thing in the ministry of Christ. The ministry of Christ ate up the first half of the week, the last week. So he got it from them. Then he got it from Scofield that there should be a tribulation period in the future. So he split it up. So that is the human way. If the level 3 end time, it will always say he committed a mistake before. That's the time he committed a mistake because he was teaching that from the 1950s. Since the 1950s. From the start, he never taught 7 years, 1 week left. From the start, he always taught 3.5 years left or half week left. From the start, until his death. And except for that one sermon when he talked about the 7 takes of Daniel, he prayed to God. He did not want to commit a mistake. Okay, I'd like to inject here in this broadcast. Well, there's still time. Please give us an extension, Sister Casey, that to prove that the timeline, because if you debate with the Seventh Day Adventist or the Jehovah's Witness, they would not believe that the timeline has stopped. So this is another issue. How do you prove to the denominational teachings that the timeline has stopped after the 69th? The proof is Titus. Titus is in verse 26. I have to inject this because we need to mention this in the broadcast. Titus is the people of the prince that shall come, that destroy the city and the sanctuary. That's in verse 26. 27 is the last week of Daniel. He shall confirm a covenant with many for 1 week. So, Titus was between the 26, verse 26 and verse 27. Titus was after 69, but before verse 27. So, if in 70 AD, he was in the middle between 69 and 70, then between 69 and 70, the timeline has stopped. Another thing, my pastor taught that in the video I said, Nissan to Nissan. Christ died on a Nissan. The command was given at Nissan. Nehemiah 2. Then, it's a whole number. It's a whole number. So it should not be in the middle of the week. It should be a whole week. So the cut-off should be the whole week. Okay? When Messiah was cut off, when Nisan, the commandment was given in Nisan or Passover or spring, and the Messiah was cut off on Nisan, Passover, spring, it's a whole number. So it should be 69, not 69 and a half. There's no splitting. Okay? So can you show the illustration of Brother Branham in his drawing? How the angel guided his hand in drawing the illustration you showed a while ago. This is Titus, no? Or you can backtrack because you could have. Could you backtrack? Could you show the drawing? Because to emphasize, this is the drawing of Brother Brandon. This is already typewritten, but could you zoom out a little bit. Zoom out. Oh no, we're almost out of time. Okay, so could you show the quote? Could you show the quote? Or you wish to skip that? So the quote, what is the quote? Oh, you already showed the quote. God guided my hand. You don't have the quote where he prayed he doesn't want to commit mistake and ask God to intervene. So to make the long story short, God intervened in 1961 because that's the only sermon. That's the only sermon when he said that 1 week left. The other sermons, he always taught 3.5 years. And when she said no, 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 it's evidence for us that he did not remember that. Okay, so we don't have much time left. You can ask questions after this broadcast. So let's have a closing prayer. By the way, don't let this broadcast end with this. Study and share this to other churches. Share this as a seminar to other and even end time churches. Okay. Okay, please give us a closing prayer.